Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche podcast, Free Skate Friday edition, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 rated sportsbook app out there. Use code DNVR when you sign up. I'm Rudo with AJ, Evan, and Blaze along as well. And let's start with the DraftKings pick of the week, boys. The Avs are the biggest favorite to win their round one series at -400, so maybe not a ton of value there. However, if you're feeling confident, if you feel like you know exactly what the score of the series is going to be, you can get up to +450 on the Avs over St. Louis. So, yeah, if you think Avs in 5, like some people in chat are saying, go bet on that. You can get yourself some good money. I think 4-1 series, the Avs are +300 there. If you think Blues take 2 games off them, you get +400. So, bunch of good options over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Of course, you can bet on all sorts of crazy stuff. Right now, Nathan McKinnon +800 for the Conn Smythe Trophy if you want to go down that route. Tons of other amazing bets you can make for the playoffs, and we'll get into some of our round one predictions as well. Don't know if I recommend our predictions as betting advice. You probably want to go to DNVR bets for that, but you know, we'll have some good conversations here. So
it's funny you mentioned that because Andre texted me this morning and was like, "So what are you feeling?" And I was like, "Look, well, what I'm feeling and what I'd put money on are two different conversations, you know."
Anyway, head on over to DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up to get amazing odds boosts. You can still get 1 for 100 over on the UFC this weekend. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Thank you very much for the super chat, Andrew. That is extremely generous of you. A $50 super chat. Much appreciated. Should we just jump in then? First round predictions. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start in the West or save the West for last?
I think you can save that for last. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's start. Let's go with the North first, just because I'm guessing it's the division everyone cares the least about if you're not from Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true? I don't know. Is there like a hierarchy of caring?
Absolutely. There's definitely ranged from care to not care. North is at the bottom for me. And don't get me wrong, the North is fun. McDavid's awesome. Watching Matthews do what he's doing is cool. But the actual teams, definitely the lowest care on my list.
Okay. Toronto, Montreal's got some history to it. I always like watching that stuff.
Well, let's start with that because that's going to be the 1-4 matchup. AJ's predictions first here. He's going with Toronto in 6 over Montreal.
Oh my. Yeah, I just I think that Montreal will eke out a game or two, but overall I just think that Toronto's just too good this year.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to sleep on Montreal, I think. Like, you always have to give them a little bit of respect, but given the way their season's gone, it's hard to see them winning the series.
Yeah, I really don't feel great about Montreal. As the season wore on, they were so inconsistent, so up and down, just not very good. And then Edmonton, Winnipeg. Winnipeg on the big slide at the end of the year. Edmonton. This is me betting on Connor McDavid more than anything else.
Yep.
So that's all that is. I'm betting on Connor McDavid to just shred the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I might not get my Edmonton Winnipeg prediction right, but that series I think is going to be fun to watch one way or another. Between McDavid, Draisaitl, and Tyson Barrie on one side of it, at the very least, it should be pretty high octane. I have no idea what order these predictions are in, so whoever's next in the north, someone throw somebody up there. That's me. Okay. I also took Toronto and Montreal in 6 for Toronto, but I'm taking Edmonton for the sweep. I'm going ham out here. So I like McDavid as well. I don't think Winnipeg has the tools to stop the ridiculous offense that Edmonton has at all. So I think it's pretty straightforward. Bet on the guy who's going to score 3+ points a game.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Like, Connor Hellebuyck is great, but that Winnipeg defense surely still is not.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I just don't. I mean, just McDavid on a completely different level this year.
Yeah, there's just too many weapons there. I mean, same with Toronto too versus Montreal.
Yep.
Just the offensive weapons that they have. I mean, it should be fun to watch, like all season for them. Basically, just scoring bonanzas.
Before we go any further, I'm sending a little link in the YouTube chat to our bracket challenge, which is now set up. You can click on that link or copy it. I'm not sure how it looks on YouTube. I'm hoping you can click it, but you can copy it if you have to. Go in there. The password is Jorts. And get in on the DNVR bracket challenge.
Capital Jorts or lowercase?
I actually don't remember. It might be capital. It might not be. I don't know. But get in on the bracket challenge. It's going to be a load of fun. Everybody here at DNVR is going to do it. We'll link it in the DNVR lounge and all that for those people as well here after the show. So should be fun. Should be a big one. I don't know. We might give something away to the winner. Don't quote me on that, but we might give you something. I'm not sure.
Jorts, perhaps.
game worn jorts.
Anyway, yeah, bracket challenge should be a lot of fun. We'll put all our picks in there. So I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes AJ likes to switch up his bracket from his predictions. So
I have done
both
that
sides.
Yeah. Evan, Blaze, one of your predictions is about to come up on screen.
Oh, that's me. All right. Yeah, I got Toronto in 5 games. I actually even though I put Edmonton in 6 games, I almost thought about both of these being sweeps. I think that those two are the clear best teams in that division, and I really just want Matthews versus McDavid in a series. So, yeah, Toronto in 5, Edmonton in 6, and I think McDavid has like 23 points against Winnipeg this year. It's something ridiculous, and I know he has like 1 million points against everyone, but he has particularly torn that team apart. I just think Hellebuyck could steal a game or two. That's about it.
All right.
Simple enough.
Blaze, even though that's Blaze. That kind of looks like Blaze.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. Like it's got the beard and everything.
How come he's got the profile and we're just straight on?
That's all on Eric. That was not me.
Anyway, yeah, I got Toronto with the sweep here. I just think they're too good. And I think it's kind of their year to come out of the North. And same with you, Evan. Like, I really want to see McDavid kind of, go at Toronto's whole lineup and see how that's going to play out. And then the same thing with Winnipeg. I think Hellebuyck is a really good goaltender, so I think he might steal a game or two.
All right. We're kind of split on upset potential here because I think AJ and I lean a little bit more towards Montreal for that opportunity, where you guys seem to like Winnipeg a little bit better than we do. So
yeah. Look, Hampus, we all agree on the North Division, but things are getting spicy here in a minute.
Yeah. We'll wait till our other divisions and things will get interesting.
Yeah, these feel like two really clear-cut series to me. These feel like two really heavily favored. To be honest, it's kind of like the West, where it feels like the top two teams they're just on a different level than the bottom two teams, and kind of like with Colorado St. Louis. I think Montreal could make it interesting. A lot of stuff has to go right for them, though, and when you start to be like, okay, well. If these 6 things happen, Montreal could totally take the series, and it's like, okay, well, how likely is it that all 6 of those things are going to happen? 2 of them might happen. Okay, well, if only 2 of them happen, how serious is the upset chance? Like maybe that's how they end up taking a game or 2. I just don't. For me, that's not a series that I see anything that really jumps out to me as at least in the first round. Because if you ask me who I'm picking between Toronto and Edmonton, I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to see how the first round goes first.
Ask again in 10 days.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see you in 2 weeks for that show.
Okay. We can move on to, let's do the East first, and we'll just work our way that way across the country. AJ,
big
2
surprise
long series here. He's taken the Islanders in 7 over Pittsburgh. He's taken his boys, and he's going with Boston in 6 as well.
Yeah, this is me buying in on Boston late season and not being a fan of Washington's goaltending. I think that the Caps goaltending is a little bit of smoke and mirrors, and I really, really just look in as I told Andre this morning. If I was putting money on it, I would bet on the Pens, but in my heart of hearts, go Isles. But I could not do it in under 7 games because I do think that they are overmatched, and to be honest, just have not played particularly well.
Yeah, the last 15 games it has been for the Isles, that has not been pretty.
It's not been great. The offense has not been great.
So I like the boldness, AJ. I like the commitment.
Yeah, the boldness to pick the team that I openly root for.
Yeah, well,
especially when I think the Pens have won. Have the Pens won 6 of the 8 meetings?
Yeah, they did.
At least you'd want to believe instead of just having no faith at all.
Yeah,
which is what I thought about the Islanders in the East. I took Pittsburgh in 5.
You son of a bitch.
I don't think that series will be particularly close. I do like the Boston over Washington pick in 6 games, though. I do think that's I don't even know if you can call it an upset. Like Boston is technically the 3 seed, but with Hall over there, who's been playing very, very well for them, I do wonder what Washington will be able to get done. I don't know. The East could be really fun if the teams can keep up. The team that falls behind, if they can stay in it, those series could be a lot of fun. But Boston, yeah, I don't know. What can you say? They're perennial contenders. You can never count them out. Anyway.
Yeah. They've been there before. They've got people that know how to do this.
Yep.
Brad Marchand.
We'll see.
This is kind of like, they're getting close to the end of this core's run in Boston.
Starting to get into their upper 30s at this point. Yeah.
And
and Washington too.
Ovechkin's a free agent. They can't seem to keep Evgeny Kuznetsov from pissing them off. We keep finding reasons to suspend that guy. So, it's. I think the Boston thing is interesting because they could be facing such a major overhaul here in maybe this offseason.
Literally coming, that early.
I just think it's a really interesting. When do they actually move on to like the next generation?
Never. Before we get to our next set of predictions, we are brought to you by Illegal Pete's. They're back and open now that the pandemic restrictions are starting to lift. You can get in there. Ton of awesome stuff going on at every single location of Illegal Pete's right now, including a sound check promotion. It's an ongoing one where if you have a ticket stub from any event here locally, you can bring it in and get a bunch of promotions either before or after a game, concert, any type of event that you're heading to. It's a great way to get yourself some amazing Colorado style burritos. With the new open locations, they have bigger indoor and outdoor spaces, so super easy to come on down and eat, and they serve breakfast until 1 p.m. on the weekends. So the Lodo location, you can actually get it every day. Don't keep it on the low for the people that don't come to Lodo, but you know, Illegal Pete's, bunch of awesome stuff. Can't recommend their food enough. Their steak and potatoes burrito is just ridiculously good. I don't know. If you haven't had it, go get it. Trust me. It's worth having. So jump over there, get yourself some Illegal Pete's. While you're at it, also get yourself some Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. You can jump on that at the DNVR bar, of course, 8 different kinds on tap, or you can find it at a local liquor store near you. Use the Breck Beer Locator online to find it. If you find the seltzers, go and buy them because they sell out super duper fast. So get your hands on some, especially with the playoffs coming up. Good time to stock up, maybe. So jump on that. Get yourself a DNVR membership while you're at it. You can buy, well, you don't even have to buy. It comes free with a shirt if you want All Hail Kale or any number of our other shirts. It also comes with a mask. Comes with 22-ounce beers down at the bar. Comes with our content as well. You know, AJ kind of writes awesome stuff. Evan kind of writes awesome stuff. So highly recommend their content. If you haven't tried it, you can get the 1 month if you want to try us for like 50 cents. So why not at least take the 1 month of it for the playoffs? That give us a look. That's all I'm saying. We make pretty cool stuff, I like to think. So yeah, second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. I believe we are on Evan's East Division predictions next. So
all right,
he's going.
Yeah, I went Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's going chalk.
I believe I had Pittsburgh out of the playoffs at the start of the year in favor of Buffalo. Obviously, I was only slightly wrong on that.
Almost had it.
Yeah, only a little bit. But Pittsburgh has really kind of caught fire here, and like you said, the Islanders have been struggling of late, so I'm going with Pittsburgh in 6. And then this one was a toss-up for me. I don't love Washington, but I'm going to take them to win this round just barely, and probably lose in the next round. But part of this is just I really just want to see Crosby Ovechkin maybe for one last time because you're not sure if this is going to happen again. Just over the years, they're both getting up there, and especially Washington, I think, is going to have some things are going to fall apart pretty soon there. But yeah, I got 7 games. It's a toss up for me. I think that's a pretty close series, and I'll go with Washington there. The revenge of Chara.
I mean, that's all anyone really wants.
Come on.
All anyone really wants is close series, right? Outside of the team that you're pulling for.
Yeah, outside of the one that your teams are involved in, you're rooting for all 7-game series.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get to Blazes as well here. Another long series.
Yeah.
Let's see that one.
Yes. He's allowed to stay.
You got to think about, Varley, right? Like, he can steal games if he gets hot at the right time. He did it for the Avs for a year in the playoffs where he was just phenomenal. So if he can capture that again, I know he's aging, but he's still a great goaltender back there. And they've got some weapons. I think Pittsburgh is just aging, and I think, if they're going to go into a long series, that they're going to get injured. They've had kind of the same issues that the Avs have had where people have been hurt. So, things can get crazy. So 7 games, it's going to be awesome. And then again, like, Boston is just that team. Like, I'm sorry, I believe they won the season series against Washington. I think they've got them.
Easy.
I think they split. I think they went 4-4.
Did they?
Did they?
I think so.
Oh, it was an even split.
Well,
doesn't change my mind.
Yeah, Boston's still taking it. Confirmed.
What about now?
Two pick the Isles. Two don't pick the Isles.
I'm the only Caps.
You're the only Caps. Everyone else
was
picked Boston in 6.
Two overtimes. So Boston went 4-2-2.
Okay. So they got the points. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. The East actually turned out more interesting than I thought it'd be. I thought it'd just be AJ picking the Isles, and that would be that. But
I dove in there as well.
Yeah, got a little bit of action with some Washington and Boston.
You're allowed to stay. We have 2 job openings after this.
Well, what can you do? Let's move on to the spitting straight fire division of the Central, because this one's going to be fun.
Wow.
So
indeed.
Let's get into this. This is about UC Saros.
Oh, God.
This is entirely about UC Saros being one of the absolute best goaltenders in the league over the last 2.5 months, and absolutely not trusting this goofy ass 3-headed goaltender thing in Carolina. I think that they can keep it close. I think that they can. This is about Saros stealing a series for me. It always happens. There's always one series that you just don't really see coming, and for me, this is the one that I'm throwing the dart at. I like Carolina. I have consistently felt like Carolina was just good, not great. And come the postseason, I just don't trust Nedeljkovic, and then if they take him out, I don't trust Mrazek and Reimer. Like I just don't. I don't trust it. It's really what it comes down to. I don't trust that, and I trust UC Saros as a longtime UC Saros believer. Him absolutely catching fire, I think, is going to be something that I just think it's going to be the difference maker. I'm worried that Nashville's ineptitude on special teams is going to be
a problem,
a really big problem in that series. It really makes me quite nervous. I think Carolina's better, but we see it every year. There's a team / goaltender that just doesn't make sense in the postseason, and for me, it just feels like Nashville has all the trappings of that team this year.
And then you take Florida in 7.
I do, because I think that I trust Coach Q. I trust the kind of nobody believes in us against the world attitude that Florida's going to have. And I trust the hockey gods to smite those cheating ass bitches in their $100 million roster.
Over 10 mil on the cap.
So I think that I think that can't be rewarded. I don't care how good those fools are. They also have a little bit of injury issues. Their defensive depth is not great. Hedman has struggled this year. He's banged up. They have a lot of nicks on their back line. This is me hoping.
Yeah, it seems like you're digging pretty deep for not a big nugget on a couple.
I mean, like Florida won the season series, and I think this Florida team is legit. I also think that there's a little bit of it's one of the reasons it's so hard to repeat is that you have to give every single shift. You have to die for every shift to win a Stanley Cup. You have to be completely bought in, dedicated, and I don't know that Tampa Bay is going to have that same level of desperation as they did last year. It might take a screw in their head on straight, you know. Plus, like, look, Nikita Kucherov is great, and he's been skating for a few weeks, and blah 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 blah. But dropping in,
haven't played for a year,
and yeah, like it could be quite challenging, and I don't want it for them. That's it. That's what it really comes down to. Is I want Florida to win this. I think that's a fun story. And I really, 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 really don't want Tampa Bay to get rewarded for the bullshit that they pulled. I don't care how smart it was. Not cool.
Well, I agree with absolutely everything AJ said about that series. However, I don't agree with a single thing he said about the Carolina series. I have Carolina sweeping Nashville and just running them out of the building. I don't think that series will be close for a minute. I don't have the faith in Saros that AJ has, and I think that Nashville team low-key sucks in front of him. So I don't see Carolina having any trouble with that hockey team, to be honest, barring some craziness from Saros if he can continue to stay stupid hot. But playoffs are a different beast on that front. So I'm taking Carolina to win game one and then cruise after that in that series. On the Florida Tampa Bay side, do we all agree that series is the most exciting one in the first round, other than obviously the Avs playing?
Oh,
cool.
Dude.
Yeah.
Florida Tampa Bay is like
it's the series to watch.
That's my must-see TV.
Okay,
it's the battle for America's Wang.
Oh God, yep, it is true. Whichever team manscaped better will win that series. Confirmed. Who's next? I think Evans are usually next.
Yeah.
That's not a confident sound that just came out of your mouth.
I'm just waiting for it to pop up. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I think Carolina's just gonna destroy Nashville. Nashville will probably get a game in. I don't like picking sweeps just because to me they're pretty rare.
Yeah, I didn't pick enough upsets this year, so I picked sweeps instead.
Yeah. And then I would love to see Florida upset Tampa Bay. I picked Florida to make the playoffs at the start of the year, and I had no faith in it, and somehow they kept going. But I just think Tampa Bay is too talented. And a guy like Kucherov, yeah, he's missed so much time. I wouldn't be surprised if he steps right in and he's fine. So, yeah, it sucks what they did, and it's really messed up, but that team is loaded, and they're probably I think they're going to just probably look that good when they get back in the playoffs.
There's no justice sometimes.
Nope.
Blaze,
never.
Which boats are you in? I have no idea. Carolina and Florida. All right.
Yeah, a little mixed bag here. I mean, Nashville, again, like what Evan just said, it's hard to do the sweep. I think Nashville's goaltending is awesome. So, I mean, everything else about Nashville, not so hot. I just don't think they're going to be able to stop Aho from Carolina. He's just on fire lately. So, and then from the Florida, it's the Coach Q, and the same thing. It's the hockey gods. You can't cheat and expect to win. So.
I feel like there's going to be a pretty consistent theme here that even if Tampa Bay wins, they're getting picked against next round.
Yeah, they ain't get it through round two for sure.
I think Carolina's going to the final, so yeah, I will probably do that too.
There you go, a little teaser.
I guess
right there.
It's the four, so
yeah, the reseed is always tough for sure. But all right, Should we well let's go to our second period break here before we get into the West. So we're brought to all of y'all by Gabi Insurance. That's GABI.com/DNVR. You can go over there. It's completely free to use, and the average user saves $961 on their home and auto insurance per year. So you can jump on that. It's super easy. Again, totally free. It's awesome. So jump in, get it, save a ton of money. I love our sponsors like this because like I quickly run out of creative ways to like do ads for them, and at the end of the day it's like, look, you literally just save money. Like, why wouldn't you do this? I don't understand. So if you haven't done it yet, go do it today. Also brought to you by Green Mountain Dental, the best family dentist in the Denver metro area, just 15 minutes from downtown over in Lakewood. We've had dozens of people switch over the years, and they have all said Green Mountain has been one of their best dental experiences they've ever had. So jump over there. They'll take care of you. They'll always send you update notices to remind you of when you have an appointment coming up, and reminders to schedule your appointments to keep your teeth fresh and clean every single year. I think they give you a reminder every 6 months. So jump on them. Do that as well. Supporting our partners is supporting us, just like Strava Craft Coffee. You can head over to StravaCraftCoffee.com and get 25% off your first purchase when you use code DNVR25 at checkout. Another product you can try at the DNVR bar if you want their cold brew. You can just head on down there. If it's a nerve-wracking playoff game, have a little bit of that to calm the nerves, maybe. Should help. So, yeah. All right, let's get into this. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm assuming that our predictions are all going to go pretty chalky in this division, but I'm curious to see the games.
Yeah,
AJ has 5 and 6 here.
Yeah, I don't believe in the St. Louis Blues at all. I fully believe that they will sneak one out of here. Otherwise, I think this is going to be a shit kicking, and all of Ryan O'Reilly's talk last night about how excited he was to play Colorado and how he thinks that when they play their heavy game, that they cause problems and blah, 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 blah. He can blow it out his ass. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He sucks.
My goodness.
And
Cram it up your cram hole.
I think Nathan McKinnon in their head-to-head matchup this year unhinged his jaw and devoured that bitch, and I think that's exactly what is about to happen. So I think that I'm just not too worried about it. The Blues aren't very good. They probably would have missed the postseason in a normal year. Some of that has to do with injury, and some of that has to do with the fact that they're just not a very good hockey team. And I think that the Avs are. I've said all year that I think that they're the best team in the league. I'm not about to pick them to lose in the first round.
Yes, sir.
I'll give the Blues a game because, as was mentioned earlier, sweeps are just rare. It's hard to do. I mean, it was hard to do in the regular season to sweep the same team 4 times in a row, even if that team won any good.
Yep.
So it's just a tough thing. So I'm good. I'm good with 5.
Good there. Vegas in 6. Do you think they sort out their Minnesota problems they had in the regular season?
Yeah, I'm not worried about Minnesota.
Okay. Just dismissive. I like it. I have the exact same lines as AJ. But exact same thing within the Colorado St. Louis series. I threw it to 5 because a goaltender can steal one game at any time. So I gave the Blues 1, but I think Colorado should just eat healthy this series. It shouldn't be anything too crazy for them. The Vegas-Minnesota series, I wanted to pick Minnesota, but I can't do that because that would deprive the world of Colorado-Vegas in round 2, and that's what the world needs. So
making it right.
Yeah, has to be. It has to be this way. I'm sorry, chat. This is just the way that it has to be. Look, I think there's a pretty good argument that Colorado and Vegas are the two best teams in the NHL, not just Colorado being number one. So you can't really. I couldn't deprive either the 1 and 2 teams of the second round. We'll see if Evan or Blaze did, but what do we got for Evan? He did. Got a little Minnesota in there.
Sucker.
So I'm riding the Kirill the Thrill train.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what
he's-
you have to. Yeah,
He's one of the top goal scorers in the last month and a half, I believe, in the NHL. And Minnesota is kind of giving Vegas some trouble. I think I'm not positive. Obviously, I don't feel great about this pick, but because I think the world is just aligned for Colorado Vegas in round 2. But I think Minnesota, for some reason, has a little bit of a matchup here that works for them. So I'm going with that. And then the Avs in 6. I think St. Louis is going to win a couple games. They're going to be able to take a couple, just mainly at home. But on that, I don't think it's going to be particularly close, especially at the home games. I think the Avs are going to crush them when they're on Pepsi Center or Ball Arena, wherever the hell it is now. Yeah, they're just too good. I just don't see it being that close when the Avs have the home ice advantage. And just to follow up, I've been following the transaction notes. The Avs haven't called anyone up, but they sent a bunch of dudes down. So maybe that gives you guys an idea that some guys are going to be coming back
on the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the Eagles play this week?
I think they do. Yeah.
I would assume so.
I'm assuming so, but I would also expect that with the Avs having the entire weekend off.
Send some dudes just to play a bit.
Yeah, it would not so, especially the guys that they sent down, where it's just like, okay,
yeah. I think Dubnyk will be back, but not that it matters because I think he should be the third goalie personally. But hopefully, it never gets to that point. For the love of God.
Grubauer stay healthy is the plan there. I think. Let's get to Blazes as well.
Yeah, I mean, looking pretty similar, right? I think the Avs are going to take it. I don't think it's going to be close, but I do think, I mean, it's just the style of play against Colorado. For some reason, the Avs just kind of sometimes shudder away from some of those games, but they're the better team. They're going to win throughout. St. Louis is like, their goaltending, Bennington is like coming back down to earth. So, you just look around, Colorado's got everything on them. And then Vegas has got to play Colorado in the second round.
There you go. So
that one is a little hard though, right? Because I think Minnesota won the season series. It's like Vegas is kryptonite. Yeah, so that could be
for whatever reason. Vegas in Minnesota specifically has always struggled every year.
Too cold
it's
up
that
there.
Banner. It's that banner.
Number 1 fans.
Yeah,
gets them every time.
So I want to talk about this McKinnon O'Reilly thing.
Yeah, I was going to get to that as well. I saw it in chat.
So 8 games played this year. Ryan O'Reilly had 7 points against the Avs, 6 of which came in the last 2 matchups in which Dubnyk was in net. So that means that there were 6 games in which he scored 1 point. It was a goal. It was also in a loss. So cool. Pretty unimpressive. The head-to-heads. I gave you guys this these numbers earlier this year or earlier today about this season's head-to-head matchup. Pretty, McKinnon and O'Reilly went head-to-head for 64 minutes at even strength this year. The actual shots on goal were 40-27 in favor of Colorado. That's 60%. The shot attempts was 75-41. That's 65%. I'm rounding up here. The expected goals for, the fancy stats was basically 3-1.5. That's 68%. Let's see here. Where else? 37-15 in scoring chances, 71%. And let's see, 15-4 in high danger chances. That's 79%. Now, the one thing that Ryan O'Reilly has going for him is, I mentioned this, he scored those 3 goals in a game in which Devin Dubnyk was in net. At 5v5, Ryan O'Reilly outscored Nathan McKinnon 4-3. At 5v5.
At 5v5, yeah.
Yep. But all of the underlying numbers and to be noted, all four of those came in both Dubnyk games.
Yeah. So with Grubauer and net, O'Reilly has 0.
Yeah. So pretty
He's a good face-off guy.
Some caveats there.
Yep.
So make of that what you will. But those are the those are the numbers there. I especially like the high danger chances being
stupidly lopsided.
Especially given Ryan O'Reilly's, like, everybody's like, oh, he's gonna win the Selke, and it's like, yeah, okay. Well, there's one dude that he didn't shut down.
Yep.
So
not too bad. The Avs don't have anything to fear when they're playing their best on best, it would seem.
Yeah, and this is the other thing about it is that the Avs play best on best.
Yep.
Yeah.
They don't try and hide McKinnon. The only team that actually tries to keep their best defensive line away from McKinnon is Vegas. They try to keep Mark Stone away from McKinnon, which is a weird thing to do because
who else are you afraid of?
Well, it's like wouldn't you want like that to be your shutdown assignment? So kind of an odd thing. If you were curious, McKinnon 14 points in 8 games against the Blues this year.
Pretty okay.
So
the Avs power play kind of beat up the Blues, didn't it?
It did.
I know obviously that one game really early was the second game of the year that pumps things up, but power play had their way with Blues for the most part.
McKinnon did not score a point in just one of their games this year.
Yep. 7 out of the 8, McKinnon had at least a point in.
Yeah, and like one of those was like that cheap power play goal in a game that they were getting their ass kicked, and the underlings looked great, and we were all like, ugh.
That was a terrible hockey game.
Yeah, it's funny. People love to hold what I said about Dallas last year against the Avs, and it's like, well, you know what I didn't predict was the Avs not having either one of their top goaltenders. Like I didn't predict them losing 4 of their regular skaters as the series went on. So, you know, if you want to hold the Dallas series against me, that's totally okay. That's totally your prerogative. It was my bad that my crystal ball did not foresee all of that.
You should have known, AJ. You should have known about the injuries, obviously.
It was really, truly, it was my bad.
So, look, I think we'll probably save some more of this conversation as we'll do a little bit more of a preview on Monday afternoon for the Avs series specifically. But what else are we looking at? What is going to be fun in these playoff series? Well, obviously, we already talked about Florida, Tampa Bay, but which other series outside of the Avs are y'all looking forward to most?
In the first round?
First round, yeah.
I'm really interested to see how the Oilers come out just after McDavid's like stellar year. Like, is that going to continue into the playoffs, and are they going to be able to pull it all together and keep going?
Ooh. Yeah. Do you ever trust the Oilers? Can you ever trust the Oilers to do the good things? I don't know.
It's been a long time. So
if they're going to do it, I think it's going to be this year in that division where it's high flying and they can score their way past some people.
I'm excited for just the entire East because I think that's the division that I probably have the worst feel for overall. Just like Washington, Boston, Pittsburgh have been at this for a decade.
Yep.
And maybe even a little bit longer than that. You know, I mean, Pittsburgh and Washington. Would anybody be surprised at all if we just woke up in 2 weeks and it was Pittsburgh and Washington in round two? And you're just like,
of course,
what year is it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't, because I picked it 10 minutes ago.
For me, I'm just like, it's tremendous that this continues.
Yeah.
You know, like we've heard of a lot of Avs fans have been like, the Avs have to win a cup within this contract for McKinnon, or else. And it's like, these are the teams that you look at. These are 3 teams that you can look at and be like,
they've kind of been doing it for the better part of a decade.
Not really. It's like they've been at this for like a solid decade. Those 3 teams have been going at this. It's a little longer. It's more like 12 or 13 years.
Yeah, Pittsburgh was in the finals in 2008, and then they won it the next year. That's 13 years.
Yeah,
they just like, for the most part, I think they might have missed the playoffs like 1 year, if I remember, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But for the most part, they've just been hanging around.
Yeah.
They've been round 2 staples.
Yeah,
basically.
For me, I talked in the season, like this season has just bored the hell out of me because of
so true.
how repetitive it got. And this, even though it is the same teams playing, it means something. So I'm just excited for games to actually mean something. And
it's also the good teams that are left playing.
Yeah,
it
for the most
really
part,
does help. Like if you look up and down this list, and it's like which is the worst team that's in the postseason?
Nashville.
And it's for me, it's Nashville and St. Louis.
Yeah.
Like those are 2 not great teams that are in.
Yeah, like even if we're talking specific matchups, I know it's a boring. These guys have been around for a while, but I do think Boston-Washington is going to be a close series. And yeah, we talked about Tampa Bay, Florida. That's a matchup, first time those teams have ever met in the playoffs. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Battle Florida is going to be awesome.
That just looks so fun, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it is a lot of, I would say, teams that could win it all are non-traditional teams. Obviously, I think Carolina could go to the finals. Colorado's not a big market. Tampa Bay won last year. Florida, they've been rocking it this year, so it's going to be an interesting finals here.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting after the division. Like you get out of the division.
Yeah, I mean with the reseed and stuff.
That's gonna be the strangest, because there will be like, normally it's like, oh well, these 2 teams played each other 3 times and it was 7 months ago, and well, it's not very important, but they've at least seen each other.
And now it's like, these 2 teams haven't played in 2 years.
Straight up, it's like, well.
And then all of a sudden, travel for like the first time all year kind of comes into play.
Yep.
Like think if it's like the Avs and Carolina make it that far and they meet in the 3rd round, it's like, well, now you're just traveling across the country.
Yeah. Well, games 5, 6, and 7, where it's just like back and forth and back and forth.
What is the North going to do? Are they coming down depending on who wins? Just depends on who wins.
Yeah, they haven't officially announced anything yet, but
smart from the NHL. They haven't announced anything because they don't want to paint themselves into a corner. So they're just like they're like, okay, let's hurry and get the playoffs started, but let's not go too fast now because we really need the Canadian border restrictions to ease up. Whether or not that happens.
I heard there's a nice rink up in upstate New York that's not being used, so they could go there as well.
How awful would that be for whoever has to play them? Like, oh, good. We get to go to Buffalo. Awesome. How fun.
How are we doing Conn Smythe at all? We're gonna because
I mean,
watching-
yeah, if you're vibing, go for it.
Yeah, we can talk about it, man.
watching Miko last night, I was like, oh my god, this guy's on another level right now. Like that shift in the third period where he just was working those dudes down low, and everyone knew he wasn't shooting, but he just held on to the puck and was finding guys. It's like I've been on the Rantanen trade all year long, and I don't think it's gonna stop.
So you're just rolling your failed rocket bet into the Miko Conn Smythe.
I'll put the money I'm gonna win on Kaprizov winning the Calder.
There you go.
Miko on the con.
The Mekon Smythe, as they say.
None of us. So all the things that we're watching, things that we're watching in round one, not one of us talked about the other West series. Is that just opponent fatigue, or is it some of it just like I just don't want to watch Minnesota?
If Minnesota gets up 1 or 2 in that series, I think it gets a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
But
hopefully they don't, and it just goes bad, because then it's a lot better for my life, and then I can just start chirping family members early on.
I just don't want to watch it.
I think it's the fatigue thing. For
that will be a Sunday afternoon, and I will wake up and I'll roll out of bed and be like, oh, what am I doing today? And it's like, well, I guess this game is on.
That's the one.
What are Rockies up to?
Yeah, you turn on that on your third monitor that you never actually look at. Is like
the game goes on mute. It goes on in the background, and then I'll occasionally glance over and be like, oh, it's 2-1.
Yep, exactly.
Do something else. Yeah, that's. I think that's probably the least interesting first round series to me for a lot of reasons, but I do really like Toronto Montreal.
So
there's just the history there.
Yeah,
is certainly something that you appreciate. How much those fan bases hate each other. It's just, I don't know. I've always thought it was charming. Just because I'm I don't want to pick sides. I just want to watch you guys hate each other. Please continue to have stupid verbal wars on Twitter that don't go anywhere, but you feel way better after. And I just it's more, life is just more fun when Toronto is disappointing everybody.
Yeah.
It's just, that's a true nature is healing moment.
It's because we don't know any other life right now. They've always been disappointing.
Yeah. What was this, their second division title?
Yep. It's since 1967.
Wow.
By the way, the Avs just won their 10th last night. For comparison's sake.
The Avs have more President's trophies than Toronto has division titles.
And you can't even blame, oh, well, you guys just inherited a great team. The Avs have 2 division titles in the last 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they have not they have not been a relevant franchise for most of that time.
I mean, you can't say inherit. I mean, they did inherit it, right? The Nordiques were getting set to go on fire the year that they left. And
the Nordiques had a first place finish in 94, 95.
Yeah.
They were good. Okay, great. All those years of first overall picks and building and blah 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 blah, and then.
Yeah, but you can't say. I mean, the Avs have done a great job, right? They went through a rebuild, and now you're seeing what's going on now.
What I'm saying, you couldn't even the Avs have 10 division titles. Just comparing it to Toronto's 2 in 40 years, and it's kind of ha ha ha. But you 2 in the last 10 years, and they haven't even
on accident, basically, too.
Yeah, one of those funny enough required the Blues to lose 6 games in a row at the end of the year and 7 of their last 9, so that the Avs could win it in game 81. And then obviously this year the Avs won it on the last day of the season.
Yep.
Yeah.
For all we know, they could have done it last year too.
Yeah, remember 2 points back with 1 game in hand.
Did you see the congratulations to the Colorado Avalanche from the NHL? Like what was going on Twitter? If you look in the background, it's Vegas.
Oh, I saw the graphic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just
they were so ready for it to happen.
Yeah.
It was one of those things like they're just rushing to get things changed. Like somebody missed it.
Those shirts are going to be in Africa or wherever they send those shirts.
Yeah.
I will say, we didn't talk about it much, but a little bit of fate here. All right. Vegas has been eliminated in the Cup Finals. They've been eliminated in the 3rd round, and they've been eliminated in the 1st round. So,
first round again, if you ask me.
2nd round exit to complete the quadfecta of all playoff exits for Vegas would get the job done. That's all I'm saying.
That way their fans could feel like a real fan base. Like, all right, now you guys know what all the levels of pain feel like.
Pete wants to see Steve Dangle's reaction to Toronto losing. I don't need to see Dangle's reaction to Toronto losing. I've seen that reaction too many times.
Yeah, I was going to say, haven't we seen it?
Give that man some joy in his life. Let him get to a conference final. I guess it'd be a semifinal. But
the Kopitar, I've seen the Kopitar congratulating Bednar thing go around. It was the other way around.
Yeah.
It was Bednar wanted to congratulate Kopitar because he didn't get a chance to talk to him after the 1,000 games.
He talked about it in his presser too. He sought him out and was like, "Oh, I just wanted to let him know." I thought it was the way that he phrased it was weird because Bednar was like, "Oh, I wanted to let him know that he's been great and that he's had an amazing career, and I just thought he should know that." Like, was he unaware? It was a cool move from Bednar to do. It was just the way that he phrased, explaining it made me laugh because it was like. It made it sound like, oh, well, if Bednar hadn't have done that, Andrei Kopitar would never have known he had a great career.
You know what? I am pretty good.
Yeah. the 1,000 points and the 2 Stanley Cups and a Selke.
Kopitar shaking his hand like, and how many games in the NHL did you play, Betsy?
Yeah, right.
None, but I had a sick mullet.
True. Can't some mullet.
Did you guys see that LA presser day? It was a little weird. All those guys are like, we need changes or else.
No, I didn't.
I didn't watch that either.
The buzzer went off last night, and immediately I was like,
about LA since.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'm done talking about the Kings until after the season when Jack Eichel thing starts back up. See you in 3 months.
Yeah, I just saw it on social media where it's like they asked Doughty, like, will you be happy if there's no changes? He's like, no. And then Kopitar kind of skirted around it. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Doughty signed that contract himself. He didn't even have an agent. So he put himself in that mess.
Well, that sounds like an LA problem to me. Yeah, I don't know. Any final thoughts on round 1 before we wrap up this show? Anything you wanted to call out or anything like that?
Don't turn on the Canucks game tomorrow thinking it's a playoff game.
How funny was it that there were 2 NHL games last night and the entire NHL world was just like, oh, those happened.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, like St. Louis was down 3-0 and won 7-3.
Yep.
And it was like, nah, nobody cares.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Totally forgettable. And I think Vancouver and Calgary played one of their 9,000 games they have to play in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, what the Yeah. I'll shave today.
Look, you guys forget last night was a late night.
Yeah, we were at the bar for a minute after that game.
There was some bar, there was long drive home,
Why do we have to shave? Just because it's playoffs? I mean, I'm not on the Avs.
It's true.
This might be breaking news to people, but yeah.
The Hallmark app is giving me updates.
There you go. Be sure to like and
Hi,
subscribe
Madness.
for AJ's Hallmark takes. It really does help us a lot when y'all subscribe to the channel and like the video, though. Oh my God, these are still in there. Tyson Jost live Marvel comic universe.
Yes.
I love my buddy sent me a text. Tyson Jost pulling the men's league move after you win the championship, just immediately putting the shirt on and going to talk to everyone.
You know, final thoughts. I was gonna thread this on Twitter at 4:00 in the morning.
Oh, Jesus.
But ended up deciding to play Fire Emblem instead. So you're all welcome. Andre Burakovsky, dude. I just want to spend a few minutes on this.
Sure.
Like I remember, Evan. I don't remember if we were sitting together, but I remember the second day of training camp after Burakovsky got to Colorado, and I remember Nathan McKinnon stopping a drill and screaming at Burakovsky, and like, you keep in mind, like Burakovsky just came from playing with some Hall of Fame dudes, and shows up in Colorado, like is hoping for a fresh start, a new opportunity. Okay, my career is finally going to take off. I'm going to get all these opportunities and we're going to turn things around. And second day of training camp. And this is back at the start, like before the world was weird. It was a normal training camp. So it was like 5 weeks before the season started. And this is day 2. And Nathan McKinnon is slamming a stick on the ice and screaming at Burakovsky and just like undressing him. And like Bender didn't stop the drill. McKinnon did. And McKinnon was like just yelling at him, right? Like, you got to do this and you got to do that. This isn't hard. Blah, 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 blah. All the things that we've seen from McKinnon over time. And then you like roll into the locker room and like Burakovsky's like this really like shy dude who's just kind of looking around. He's really uncertain and just the eyes darting a lot, trying to see where all the reporters are going to go, if anyone wants to talk to him, you know, all these things, right? Like, and I just remember watching him as he went through that like new guy breaking in period, and that like McKinnon gives him a rough ride right off the bat. And like, he's really shy and he's like, this is a guy who's like second chance, right? He has to make this work. Otherwise, he's either out of the league pretty soon or he's on that weird journeyman path where he ends up playing for 6 teams in 9 years or something. And so like, this has to work for him, right? Like, this is important. And watching him go from that, like I was thinking about it last night. He goes from that, and then did you see his face after he scored the 5th goal last night? And he had like that, like the Berkey smirk, where he was just like, "Yeah, I can do that whenever the hell I want." And just to see the way that he interacted with the teammates, I couldn't help but notice like how much he has grown into the room, how much he's just become a part of the group. And, you know, we talk about player movement in a lot of business terms, you know, in a lot of we don't think about the human element until later on in the process. But like, this is a guy that has become an Av. You know, he's not just a guy like Brandon Saad, probably just stopping by. You know, Patrick Nemeth, probably just a stopping by type of guy. You know, there's a number of guys that are probably just in the door, out the door. You're going to shuffle that position quite a bit. But it really looked like last night. I couldn't help but notice as they were going through the line after he scored and like the reaction and like, you know, the hugs and the loves and all that, just the way that he's really become part of the group. You know, he's part of that room now. He's comfortable. He's in his own element. He understands the expectations from the coaching staff. He understands the expectations from the guys around him. And I think mentally he's got to be in the best place of his pro career. He has a consistent role. He knows the score, and he understands what they want out of him, and it's a thing that he can give, and that he's a game breaker for them. Like you go into a series, you go into this playoff series against the Blues. What are the Blues trying to focus on? It's shutting down Nathan McKinnon. You try and take away some of Sam Girard, Cale Makar, Devon Taves. You try and limit their offense, right? But the next dude that you really worry about, like Burakovsky's got to be at the top of that list. Like, okay, here's all their big guns, and then there's Berkey. That guy right there, he's a problem for teams to game plan around. And I think this is maybe the scariest he's ever been in his career, because he's just in such a good place, and he's in such a good position on the team to just chew someone up. He's not going to get a prime matchup. He's going to get a second pairing, second best forward line. You know, he's not going to get the top guy. And he started to elevate his game at the end of the year to top guy status. And I think he's not far behind Landeskog in terms of like tier, in terms of like player tiers. I think he's starting to creep into that one. And that's a really big problem for other teams.
Yeah. I remember that camp, and he looked lost the entire camp and in preseason, and I just didn't think it was going to work, and completely wrong. I've been wrong a lot in my life, obviously. My wife tells me that. That's part of being a grown-up, is that you're wrong a lot, and I was way off on Berkey, and that was actually what I asked Bednar last night is, you know, how have you seen him grown from the guy you saw, I guess, 20 months ago, to the guy he is now? And it's really a matter of, you know, he's bought in. He understands that, you know, obviously he's still going to make mistakes. We saw it on the first goal. I know people wanted a penalty. It looked to me like he lost his edge more than anything. But he's making the simple play. He's not trying to make the best play all the time. He's just taking what's there. And the reality is, when he gets the puck in the slot, I just assume it's going in. Like, there's not even another thought in my head. Like, when he got the puck in the slot, I was like, this is a goal. Like, it doesn't matter.
Well, and AJ has pointed this out a couple times this season about the buy-in. I've never seen Berkey back check like he has this season.
Yeah.
That dude is committed. So, and that goes beyond Berkey. The entire Avalanche team they believe. There's no doubt about that. They are all in on their own systems. So you gotta like the vibes for sure.
He is. I think that's a word I said last. Bednar, I said he's become a game breaker, and I think he probably is. There's just not a lot of teams that have a guy like that can basically score whenever he really wants to on their second line that are in the league right now. So he's an advantage that they have.
Well, he's an advantage that they should have moving forward. Like, you look at that second line is going to go through some changes. You know, Saad probably is gone after this year. Kadri is probably gone after next year. Newhook it's a fair bet that you think Newhook takes one of those jobs in time. And so, okay, you've got the top line. Now you also have Newhook and Burakovsky to really kind of build around. They've got to find the money for him long term, because he's a UFA after next year. And like Rudo and I are always joking about it when we watch games together.
Yeah.
Every time Berkey does something, Rudo just screams $6 million!
$6 million!
I might be low right now.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like, not what I wanted to get into. Like, not where I wanted that to go. Just that. It's
something on the radar though, for sure. Yeah.
Really, the injury isn't serious. The one that he apparently suffered
while doing an interview.
While doing the second period interview, like he either suffered whatever injury it was before that interview and did it anyway, or he suffered that injury walking back to the locker room from the interview. Either way, I was betting a decent amount of money that whatever kept Connor Timmins from the third period last night was not significant.
Last thing I'll say on Berkey is like, now you watch him shoot the puck, and it's just like, how did this guy not score 1 million goals playing with Kuznetsov and Backstrom and all those guys?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's
But
such
it is what it
quick
is.
release. It's a quick release, and it's hard and accurate. I mean, he's a good shooter.
I think I will say this year he seems to have learned a little bit that you don't have to go bar down every time.
And most of his goals did anyway.
Yeah, like he still does it too much, more than he needs to, but he's got a couple of ones that aren't like absolute super snipe dandies. But anyway,
one of the ones that he scored that it was a freebie. It was against Minnesota where he was just standing in front of the net and the puck popped out to him. And he was like, oh, let me put this on my forehand and put it into an empty net. But he was standing there.
yeah.
And I didn't watch enough of him in Washington to know that to know if that was a thing that he did, but it was not something that he did naturally early in his Colorado career.
Yep.
And for him to just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to go to the net and we're just going to, I'm going to fish for some loose change. And he picks it up and it's like, look, he starts to do that a little bit.
And
this is a guy that is a 14.6 career shooter. He has one of the elite shots in the NHL.
Yep.
If he starts to go to the net and he starts to add a little bit of dirt into his game, he's just going to get better.
And we kind of saw that's how he got out of his little slide this year, which when he wasn't scoring much, how he started picking up points again was, oh, look, there's a rebound that he puts in. Oh, look, there's a puck that bounces out to him that he puts in. So if the dude's struggling and his game plan is, all right, I'll just go to the net, that's invaluable for the Avs, I think. Finds ways to be useful beyond just his ridiculous shot. All right. On that note, we do have to get out of here as we're running a little bit long at this point. So
just his stat line ended up being freaky similar to last year.
Yeah, almost identical.
So same number of assists, one fewer goal.
Yeah.
He had his power play and even point and even strength assists, one off. He went 16-9 last year and 15-10 this year. Last year he had 103 shots on goal, and this year he had 102.
Nothing if not consistent.
Like the fact that he almost copy and pasted last season's scoring line onto this year, it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I just thought that was interesting, and I don't know what Tyson Jost finished at, but his streak of 113 shots on goal, 114, 115 is over. He finished with 92. Damn it.
Forget it. It's done. Yeah. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed the show. We have a bunch more content coming for you over the weekend and on Monday. So keep your eyes peeled on the YouTube channel and, follow the DNVR or DNVR Avalanche on Twitter. Like and subscribe, all of that amazing stuff. We will be back live coming at you on Monday to probably break down the Avs series a little bit more in depth that afternoon before the game. And then, of course, live post game as always. So hope to see you all there. Until then, have a great weekend.